He has the fastest 100-meter time of any man alive in this field, 9.76 seconds, one of the fastest legal times a human being has ever run, and he just finished fourth, not injured, not disqualified, not a bad race. Fourth place in a final, he was, on paper, the most qualified man to win. So what actually happened? Let me show you the exact numbers, because once you see them side by side, you're going to understand this sport completely differently. Here's the final. Noah Lyles wins in 9.79, Ronnie Baker, second, 9.88, Kenny Bednarek, third, 9.88, losing that spot by 0.005 of a second, 0.005. Christian Coleman, the man with the 9.76 personal best, the fastest man in the building, finishes fourth in 9.93. And Courtney Lindsey rounds it out in fifth at 9.97, only 0.18 seconds off the win. Now rank these 5 men by their lifetime best instead of this one result, and the order flips completely. Coleman is first, Lyles is second, Bednarek is third, Lindsey is fourth, Baker is fifth. The man who actually won isn't even the fastest man who lined up. That gap between the ranking and the result is the entire story, and I'm going to walk you through every single piece of it. Before we get into who these 5 men actually are, we have to talk about the heat, because it tells you something important about how this whole thing unfolded. Lyles wins his semifinal in 9.97, but it is not clean. Ronnie Baker and Kyrie King both push him the entire way down that track, and by every account, he is never fully in control there. Baker comes through in 10.00 flat right behind him, and here is a detail worth sitting with. Even with a slight helping wind in that race, Lyles' 9.97 is still a full 100th of a second slower than what Christian Coleman had already run separately. This is Lyles chasing a national 100-meter title he had actually skipped the year before, when Kendall Williams won it instead, while Lyles focused on the 200. So the stakes here were real, not routine. Let's go through each man now, because every single one of them is carrying a completely different story into that same 9 seconds and change. Start with Lyles, because he is the one standing at the top. His 9.79 matches his own Olympic gold medal winning time from Paris exactly, down to the 100th. And this is a man who has already won almost everything this sport has to offer. Olympic gold in the 100, 8 World Championship gold medals. In 2023, he won the 100, the 200, and the 4x100 relay at the same World Championships. The first man to do that since Usain Bolt pulled it off back in 2015. He also holds 4 straight World Championship titles in the 200 as of 2025, and he owns the American 200-meter record at 19.31. But none of that erases the setbacks sitting right underneath the resume. At Paris, he wanted more than 1 gold, and instead took bronze in the 200 while dealing with COVID during that exact final. At the 2025 World Championships, he actually lost the 100-meter title entirely, settling for bronze there too, though he clawed back the 200 title in the same meet. And at these very 2026 championships, in the 200-meter final, a hamstring cramp forced him to stop and not finish. So the man on top of this podium has also been publicly beaten and publicly injured within the same 12 months. Now look at Ronnie Baker, because his story is probably the biggest one in this entire field. Second place, 9.88, his fastest 100 meters since 2021. He is 32 years old, out of Louisville, one of the older men standing on that line. Go back to the Tokyo Olympics and you find him running 9.83 in that final, a legitimately fast time, and it still only earns him 5th place, no medal at all. After Tokyo, years of injuries and real mental struggles follow him, the kind of stretch that ends most careers quietly. Instead, he fights all the way back to this exact moment, a national runner-up finish at 32 years old. If you are looking for the actual comeback story sitting inside this field, it is Ronnie Baker, not anyone else on that podium. Right behind him, separated by 0.005 of a second, is Kenny Bednarek. Same official time as Baker, 9.88, and he loses the tiebreak by the thinnest possible margin. Bednarek's nickname is Kung Fu Kenny, and here is something that does not get brought up enough. He actually specialized in the 400 meters before ever moving down to the 200. He is a 2-time Olympic silver medalist in the 200, Tokyo and Paris both, still chasing his first individual global gold at either distance. And he has already flashed serious 100-meter speed too, running a wind-aided 9.72 earlier in 2026, proof that his talent runs deeper than the 200-meter reputation most people know him for. And now we get to Christian Coleman, the man this entire explainer is actually built around. He finishes 4th, 9.93, despite owning the fastest 100-meter personal best of anybody in that field, 9.76 from all the way back in 2019, still one of the fastest legal 100-meter times ever recorded by a human being. He also holds the indoor 60-meter world record at 6.34 seconds. He was the 2019 World 100-meter champion, and he is specifically known across the entire sport for having one of the best starts anybody has ever had. And despite every single bit of that, he has never once won an individual Olympic 100-meter medal. He missed the Tokyo final completely. He did not make the individual final in Paris either. The fastest man of this generation competition, by the clock, still has a gap in his resume that every other man in this final would trade almost anything to fill. Then there's Courtney Lindsey, finishing 5th in 9.97, the least famous name standing on that line. But look closer, because 9.97 only puts him 0.18 seconds behind Lyles, which is a lot closer than 5th place makes it sound. He already has a World Championship relay gold from 2025, and his actual personal best sits at 9.82, meaning this final was not even close to his fastest performance ever. He also ran 19.71 for the 200 meters in Nairobi in 2024. Proof his speed carries over a full lap of the turn, not just the straightaway. Now here is where the real math comes in, and I think this is the part that actually explains everything. Lyles beat 2nd and 3rd place by 0.09 seconds. 2nd and 3rd place were separated from each other by only 0.005 seconds. Read that again. The gap between 1st place and everybody chasing him was almost 20 times larger than the gap between 2nd and 3rd. That is not a normal spread for a championship 100-meter final. That is one man completely alone at the front and 4 other elite sprinters bunched up fighting each other for scraps behind him. So let's actually answer the headline. Why did the fastest man in the race not win it? It is not really about raw speed at all. It's about who peaks in the exact 10 seconds that count. Coleman built his entire career on his start, on that explosive first phase where he gains ground nobody else can match. But a championship 100-meter final is decided in the closing 20 meters just as much as the opening ones, and that is precisely where this race got away from him. Lyles, meanwhile, has built his entire reputation on the exact opposite skill: finishing, closing, refusing to fade when everybody else starts tightening up. And once again, that specific skill is exactly what showed up when it mattered. Step back and look at what these 5 men actually represent, because none of them are just a name in a results table. Lyles is the superstar trying to stay on top while carrying real recent setbacks. Baker is the comeback, 32 years old and fighting all the way back from years of injury and struggle. Bednarek is the Olympic silver medalist still chasing that one individual gold that keeps slipping past him by hundredths of a second. Coleman is the fastest man alive on paper, with a world record and a world title to his name, and still no individual Olympic medal to show for any of it. And Lindsey is the relay champion, quietly trying to turn team success into something that belongs to him alone. If personal bests decided races, Coleman wins every single time. They don't. Races get decided by who shows up fastest in the moment that actually counts, not by who has the best number sitting in the record books. So the real question here isn't who the fastest man in this field is. On paper, that's already settled. It's who turns that speed into a win when it actually matters. Drop your pick for who does that first next season. I read every single comment